After completing the dress, let's move on to making the pants. It is divided into 3 parts: the pant legs, the waistband, and the lace trim. The crocheting method for both pant legs is identical. Both use the chain ring method to start. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. After finishing one pant leg, fasten off the yarn normally. For the other pant leg, don't cut the yarn. The method is relatively simple. Everyone can refer to the chart for the stitch order. Crochet them until they're completed. Next, we'll crochet the waistband. I'll demonstrate using these 2 swatches. First, connect the 2 pant legs. Then, on the leg that hasn't been fastened off, work 2 chain stitches. After that, take the other pant leg. Start from the left stitch at the ending position. Correspondingly work 22 single crochets. When you reach the chain stitch position for joining, pick up the chain braid and work 2 single crochets. Then, pick up the stitches from the other pant leg. Work single crochets evenly to match them up. After completing it, on the other side of the chain, work 2 single crochets evenly. Slip stitch join into the first single crochet on the left side. Pull tight. The first round is now completed. This round joins the 2 pant legs into one large circle. The working method for the second and third rounds of the waistband is simple. Follow the chart to work the corresponding stitches in order. You can complete them on your own. Continue with the 4th round. Decrease on both sides. First, align the waist front and back along the joining position, and press it flat. Find the middle position when folded left and right, and mark it. An approximate position is fine. I have already marked my sample swatch. After completing, work single crochets. At the 2 marked stitch positions, work single crochet decreases. Work even single crochets at the other positions. After completing, you can check the stitch count. The 4th round is now finished. For the 5th round, work even single crochets. You can complete this round on your own. Continue with the 6th round. In this round, decrease at the middle of the front and back body. Align the waistband on both sides and press it flat. Find the 2 stitch markers for the front and back middle. An approximate position is fine. Decrease at the marked positions. Work even single crochets at the other positions. The 6th round is now completed. For the 7th round, work even single crochets. You can complete this round on your own. After completing the last single crochet stitch, leave a 10 cm yarn tail, and cut the yarn. Thread the yarn tail into a sewing needle. Start by coming out from the first single crochet stitch. Then insert it through the middle of the last stitch. Gently tighten it slightly. Weave in the remaining yarn tail on the wrong side of the fabric. This completes the waistband of the pants. Next, sew the lace trim onto the pant legs. Take out the wider tulle lace trim. With the right side of the lace trim facing you, cut a length of the same color thread as the lace. Take one strand and thread it into a sewing needle. Tie a double knot with the yarn tail. Start by sewing small, tight pleats along the lace trim. Compare and adjust while sewing to fit the toy's leg. Continue until the gathered edge is slightly longer than the widest part of the doll's calf. Trim off any excess lace. Align the opening edges. Sew up the tulle on both sides along this edge, moving upwards. Leave about 0.5 centimeters at the end. Slip the opening over the top of one leg. Above the leg, slip the opening over the top of one leg. Sew this end of the tulle to the stitches in the third round of the leg. Create fine pleats as you sew. Finish sewing this round. If you want it to be stronger and neater after completing, you can sew another round to secure it further. Tie a double knot after all the sewing is done. Weave in the ends on your own. This completes the lace trim for one pant leg. Sew the lace trim for the other pant leg using the same method. Up to this point, the instructions for making the pants are completed. Next, we'll make the apron. It's divided into two parts, the main part of the apron and the decorations. Let's start by learning the crocheting method. For the main part of the apron, start with foundation chain. Work back and forth along the starting chain. After completing, crochet the edging in rounds. Please watch me demonstrate the specific crochet method. Chain 8 to start. Begin from the second chain from the hook. Pick up the half loop above the chain, stitch braid one by one. Crochet 7 single crochets. The first row is now completed. Move on to the second row. Start with one chain stitch as the turning chain. In the chart, turn means to turn the workpiece. Here, you need to turn the workpiece counterclockwise. In the stitch below the turning chain, crochet 1 single crochet increase. Pay attention, on the wrong side, the stitch is located at the upper left. Then, work 1 single crochet in each stitch for 5 single crochets. After completing, make 1 single crochet increase in the last stitch. The second row is now completed. Continue with the third row. Chain 1 to begin. Turn the workpiece. Crochet 1 single crochet increase. 7 single crochets. And 1 single crochet increase. The third row is now completed. For rows 4 through 15. Refer to the stitch pattern sequence in the chart. Work back and forth. The method is relatively simple. Everyone can finish these rows on their own. Next, work on the 16th row. Start with one chain as the turning chain. Turn the piece. Skip the first stitch. Begin from the second single crochet. Correspondingly, make 2 single crochets evenly. Then crochet 4 half double crochets. Followed by 5 double crochets. Then crochet 4 half double crochets. And 2 single crochets. Finally, make 1 slip stitch on the last stitch. That completes the 16th row. Now continue to crochet the edging. Chain 1 to begin. Turn the piece. First, pick up the braid of the slip stitch. Work 1 single crochet increase. Then pick up the left stitch. Work 1 single crochet for each stitch. Finish this row until you reach the chain braid. When you get to this position, pick up the chain braid and make 1 single crochet increase. Then pick up the edge of the chain. This way, with 2 strands of yarn, correspondingly work 1 single crochet for each stitch in a row. Finish crocheting this edge. On the last row of single crochets, make a single crochet increase. Then pick up the chain braid of the stitch. With the remaining 2 strands, work 7 slip stitches correspondingly. Continue downward following this method. Symmetrically finish crocheting this circle. After completing, follow the same method used for breaking the yarn at the waistband. Sew it together with the adjacent stitch on the left. Weave in the ends. The starting tail should be woven in on the wrong side of the piece. The edging is now completed. Up to this point, the main part of the apron has been crocheted. Next, add decorations. Start by sewing on the lace trim. Cut a length of yarn from the remaining strands used for the apron. Pull out 1 strand through the sewing needle. Then cut a piece of narrow lace trim, about 1 centimeter longer than the starting point of the apron. First, fold one end in slightly. Then wrap it around the starting point of the apron. The ribbon should be on the wrong side of the apron. Sew it along the edge below the slip stitches of the edging to secure in place. Fold this end in as well. Finish sewing this row. Once done, take out the narrow lace trim. Leave about 22 centimeters. Place the lace trim on the wrong side of the apron, with the lace trim facing outward, with the ribbon facing inward. The middle of the lace trim should correspond to the edging stitches. Sew around following the stitch count. After completing, smooth out the lace trim along the edge below the ribbon. Pick and sew back at the corresponding position of the fabric piece. Once done, tie a double knot with the beginning and ending yarn tails. Weave in the ends on your own. Here, leave about 20 centimeters of the lace trim before cutting. That's how you finish sewing the lace trim. Next, make the rabbit applique. Cut a piece of yarn in the same color as the apron. Pull out one strand and insert it into the sewing needle. Tie the yarn end with a double knot. Take out the rabbit applique. Start from below the rabbit. Sew the lace trim on its wrong side. The ribbon of the lace trim should face inward. Leave about 0.5 centimeters of the lace visible on the outside edge. Sew along the edge of the applique. Be mindful not to let the yarn tails show on the front side of the applique. Finish sewing around this circle. After completing, trim off any extra lace trim. Tie the yarn ends with a double knot. Cut off the excess parts. Then apply glue on the backside of the applique. Stick it onto the center of the apron's right side. Mind that the starting chain position is above the rabbit. Make sure not to glue it crooked. This completes the installation of the rabbit applique. Finally, at the bottom right corner of the applique, corresponding to the second to last row of the apron, sew on the metal tag. Cut a piece of thread that matches the apron's color. Pull out one strand and insert it into a sewing needle of appropriate size. Sew the tag in this position. Be sure the engraved side of the tag is facing up. Stitch twice to secure it in place. Tie the beginning and ending tails with a double knot. Weave in the ends on your own. This completes the installation of the metal tag. Tie the apron around the toy's waist. On the wrong side, use the reserved lace trim to tie a bow. Up to this point, the explanation of the apron making method is completed. Next, we will make the hat. It consists of the main part of the hat, rabbit's ears, and decorations. Let's start by learning the crocheting method. For the main part of the hat, use the foundation chain to cast on, then crochet in rounds. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Start with a chain of 26 stitches. Then move on to the first round. Begin from the second to last chain stitch. Pick up one strand from the top of the chain. Crochet evenly 24 single crochets. Then, in the last chain stitch, crochet 1 single crochet with 3 single crochets in one stitch. Rotate the piece. You can see, on this side, there are 2 strands left at each chain stitch position. Pick up the 2 strands left from the adjacent chain stitch below. Work 1 single crochet for each stitch correspondingly. As you crochet, place the starting tail above the hook. Weave in as you go along. The single crochets on this side match up with the single crochets on the other side. Work them 2 by 2 into the same hole. Continue crocheting single crochets downward until just before the last chain stitch position. After completing it, work 1 single crochet increase in the same hole as the first stitch. Work 1 single crochet increase here. The corresponding stitch pattern for this round is now finished. Crochet a slip stitch into the first stitch. Pull tight. The first round is now completed. The starting tail has been woven in for 1 round. If there's any yarn left, you can cut it directly. Next, crochet round 2. Make 1 chain as your turning chain to start. Work 1 single crochet increase first. Then move on to 3 half double crochets. Follow with 17 double crochets. Then crochet 3 more half double crochets. Now work 3 single crochet increases in a row. Then crochet 3 more half double crochets. And 17 double crochets. After completing, crochet 3 half double crochets. Follow with 2 single crochet increases. Join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. Pull tight. That completes round 2. The following crochet method is relatively simple. All the stitches used have been thoroughly demonstrated before. Everyone can refer to the table order and continue crocheting on your own. Pay attention while crocheting. Do not randomly adjust the stitch patterns or the increasing, decreasing positions. You must follow the table order for everything. After everything is completed, break the yarn using the method for breaking at the waistband. Weave in the ends properly. The method is relatively simple. Everyone can finish crocheting them on your own. Everyone, take a look. This is what the main part of the hat looks like after it's finished. The rabbit's ears use foundation chain for starting. Crochet in rounds around the starting chain. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crochet method. The starting chain and the first round for the rabbit's ears are similar to the main part of the hat. The only difference is the number of stitches. Everyone can refer to the table and crochet on your own. My sample swatch is already finished. Now move on to the second round. Start with 1 chain stitch. Follow the chart and crochet the corresponding stitches until just before the 3 single crochet in 1 stitch at the pointed end. Now we've reached this position. First, work 1/2 double crochet. Then make 1/2 double crochet into the adjacent stitch on the left. Chain 2. Then work another 1/2 double crochet into the same stitch. After completing it, continue by picking up the next adjacent stitch on the left. Refer to the chart and crochet the corresponding stitches. Once you finish the last single crochet, chain 2 for transition. Work 1 slip stitch into the adjacent stitch on the left. Then break the yarn in the same way as you did for the waistband of the pants. Weave in the ends. The second round is completed. The rabbit's ear is finished. Use the same method to crochet the other rabbit's ear. Next, add decorations to the hat. Let's take a look at the finished product. Sew the wide lace trim onto the middle of the back side of the hat. Sew the lace trim with ribbon through it, onto the middle of the front side of the hat. Sew the narrow lace trim onto the edge of the hat. Then sew the narrow lace trim on both sides of the hat to serve as ties. Attach snaps at the corresponding positions of the rabbit's ears and the hat. Also, attach bows onto the rabbit's ears. Please watch me demonstrate the specific sewing method. Take out the wide lace trim. Match and sew together where the ribbon corresponds with the starting point on the back side of the hat. Cut a piece of yarn in the same color as the hat. Here I randomly choose a color combination. Remove 1 strand and insert it into the sewing needle. Tie the yarn end with a double knot. Start from either end. Sew along the ribbon matching it to the corresponding fabric piece. As you sew, fold to create fine pleats. Sew around the starting point in a circle. Pay attention to handling the pleats well at the corner positions. After finishing one circle, cut off the excess lace trim. About 1 centimeter below. Sew another circle to secure it in place. Tie a double knot when completed. Weave in the ends. This way, the ribbon on the back of the hat is sewn properly. After completion, take out the embroidered lace trim. The front side of the lace has clear texture, the back side has more blurred patterns. Place the right side of the lace towards you. Insert the ribbon into the chain space of the lace. Exit through another hole. Make sure the smoother side of the ribbon faces outward. Follow these steps to insert the ribbon through the embroidered lace trim. Complete the process by trimming any excess ribbon. Next, cut a length of the remaining yarn from the hat crocheting. Pull one strand through a sewing needle. Place the lace on the right side of the main part of the hat. Match it up with the starting position. Pay attention that the pattern, which is above the ribbon, should face upward here. Fold the starting position inward slightly at a small distance. Sew a few stitches to secure it. Then follow the edge of the ribbon and pick up corresponding fabric pieces to sew them together. After finishing this side, keep in mind that during the sewing process, the ribbon should always correspond with the starting chain position. Once completed, trim any excess parts of the lace and ribbon. Similarly, fold the excess at the end inward. Sew back along the edge. After completion, tie the yarn tails into double knots at both ends. Make sure to weave in the ends on your own. The lace trim with the ribbon is now sewn together. Next, on the right side of the hat. Start from either side, and follow the last round of stitches. Pick up the lace trim underneath the ribbon, and sew it down for a narrow edge. As you sew, fold it to create fine pleats. Pay attention, evenly sized pleats will look better. After finishing this circle, trim any excess lace. Tie the beginning and ending yarn tails with a double knot. Make sure to weave in the ends on your own. Next, cut a piece of narrow lace trim about 20 centimeters long. Fold one end inward slightly. Match it to the stitch position of round 2. Sew it onto one side of the hat. Ensure it is sewn securely. Weave in the ends on your own. The hat's tie is now sewn together. Follow the same method to sew another tie on the other side. That concludes the explanation of how to sew the lace trim onto the hat. Next, we will attach snaps to the hat and the rabbit's ears. The raised side of the snap is the male part. The side with the groove is the female part. First, secure the male part on the back side of the rabbit's ear. This is the end where the second round of the ear finishes. Cut a piece of yarn that matches the ear's color. Take one strand, insert it into a sewing needle of appropriate size. Place the male part in the corresponding position. Draw the needle through. Pass through the buttonhole. Sew them down as you move along. Once completed, tie a double knot. Weave in the ends on your own. That's one male part sewn on. Next, take another piece of yarn. On the front side of the hat, sew the female part onto the lace trim above the tie. After finishing, Tie the beginning and ending tails with a double knot. Weave in the ends separately. That's it. The snap on this side is now sewn. Next, cut a piece of narrow lace trim. Tie it into a bow. Sew it onto the front side of the rabbit's ear, at the corresponding position of the snap. Weave in the ends on your own. Following the same method, sew a pair of snaps at the symmetrical position on the other rabbit's ear and the hat, then sew a bow on the rabbit's ear. After completing, fasten the ear onto the hat. Place the hat on the toy's head. Up to this point, the method of making the hat has been fully explained. Next, let's learn how to make the shoes. Start with foundation chain. Crochet in rounds along the starting chain. After completion, glue a bow at the corresponding position on the foot. In the table, Ta refers to half double crochet decrease. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. The cast on and the first two rounds of the shoes are similar to the main part of the hat. Everyone can refer to the chart for crocheting. My swatch is already completed here. Next, work on the third round. Start with one chain stitch as your turning chain. Then pick up the front loop of the stitch and work a slip stitch. Finish this round. After completion, on the first slip stitch braid. Join with a slip stitch. Tighten. The third round is now completed. Next, work on the fourth round. First, on the remaining back loop of the first stitch in the second round. Work one slip stitch. Transition the yarn tail to this position. Then make 2 chain stitches as a turning chain. This counts as 1/2 double crochet, correspond to the first stitch. Next, pick up the back loop of the second stitch in the second round, on the adjacent stitch on the left side. Work 1/2 double crochet for each stitch. Work the entire round. After completion, join with a slip stitch on the turning chain. Tighten. The fourth round is now done. For the fifth round, work even single crochets. Note that the first single crochet should be worked into the turning chain of the previous round. The method is relatively simple. Everyone can work the entire round on their own. Next, start the sixth round. Make 1 chain as your turning chain. First, work 4 single crochets. Then, work 1/2 double crochet decrease, yarn over, insert the hook into the stitch, yarn over again, draw the yarn through. There are 3 loops on the hook. This is an incomplete half double crochet. Work another incomplete half double crochet in the stitch on the left, yarn over, insert the hook into the stitch, pull the yarn through. Now there are 5 loops on the hook. That's 2 incomplete half double crochets. Yarn over and draw through all loops. 1/2 double crochet decrease is completed. Continue with 3 double crochet decrease stitches. Then work 1/2 double crochet decrease. Start with 2 incomplete half double crochets. 1 incomplete half double crochet, 2 incomplete half double crochets, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook. Another half double crochet decrease is done. Work 6 single crochets next. Join with a slip stitch. Tighten. The 6th round is completed. Move on to the 7th round. Chain 1 to begin as your turning chain. Work a slip stitch into each stitch across. After completion, fasten off using the same method as for the waistband. Weave in the ends. One shoe is now finished. Crochet the other shoe in the same way. Next, following the previous method, make 2 double layer bows. Attach them onto the corresponding positions on the feet. Finally, dress up the toy neatly. That concludes our tutorial on the toy. If you have any unclear parts while crocheting, you can contact our customer service, Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you all for watching. See you next time.